back to Chai Chat with Lavina. I have so much more to ask Tony before time runs out. So let's go back to one of the minds that helped create iPhone, iPods, thermostat, and now the book Build. I have a little bit more time with you, and thanks to you for making that happen. Is that when you were creating this iPod and iPhone that we use now, did you know what was happening, and did you have a vision that this is what's going to happen? I mean, the whole world, I feel, is divided into one or the other. I am the other category. I'm the iPhone category. So I really am in awe of you and your team, as I say, and Steve Jobs.
You're right.
Working with him.
Yeah. Well, I think the big thing to realize is, especially after, being in Silicon Valley before I started iPod, I was there 10 years. And those first 10 years were big failures in many ways, huge failures, some really, really big, others small. But every single thing was a learning experience, right? And I was able to learn about myself, learn about building products, learn about building businesses. So when the iPod came up, and then ultimately the iPhone, there was always, I was tempered. I had this hope that they would be successful. But with my previous adventure, I believed they'd be successful. So there's one thing to believe and throw everything away because you're so focused on it that it's going to be successful. It will be successful, but you might just learn, because some of the other points might fail, but you're going to learn through it. And so for me, instead of hinging everything and all your bets on like, oh my God, this has got to be a success, I'm going to do everything to make it a success. Hope it's a success. Make sure you've done everything to make sure you've done your best to make it a success, but don't bet your life and say it will be. Because once you get it out of your hands, if you've done a great job, it might be, but you're never going to will it into existence if you don't produce something that really meeting people's needs and it really takes off. You can be delusional and say it was success, but you should hope, but don't plan, because typically you don't have a success. And this was specific about the iPod and to some extent the iPhone. We weren't really successful till our third generation, right? We have a chapter about this. iPhone was really the third generation of the iPhone that it really came into its being that we know of it today. There were all kinds of issues, problems, and that needed to happen in the first two generations to get the third generation to take off. And so you have to understand this is a journey. The first thing you ship, you hope it's a success, but it's really not a success. You've tried enough times after you've missed the mark on certain things, even if you got it mostly right. So you got to stick with it and just understand that if you're doing the right way, you're thinking about the way, hopefully success will come, but don't bet your life on it. That's a whole different thing. Don't go mortgaging your house. Don't go do everything. Because I've seen people end up there and they start making really bad decisions when their personal lives are going to be so affected. Not that they're not affected. They will be affected. But are you going to basically put it all on black and you're at Las Vegas and you're going to say, I'm putting every last dollar onto this to make sure it's a success? That's not healthy.
I think that's very important to know. I want to ask, can you outsmart your children in iPhone that you've created? Or they outsmart you?
Usually it's for about a day or two. And then they find out some other way, right? Because it isn't just one device. It could be our iPhone, it could be the iPad, it could be the TV at Apple TV, it could be an Amazon thing, it could be something that comes from our Sony PlayStation or Sony Xbox. Like what happens is there's not just one digital device, there's digital devices all around you. And so sooner or later, they figure out some way around the system, figure out a way of doing things that get around the system. So again, it's fun to kind of have this cat and mouse, spy versus spy game going. And then they go, I got you, Dad. And you're like, okay, here we go. So it's at least it's a game, you play games with your kids. This is one game you can play with them as well.
Tony, please, this is your platform. Tell everybody about the book and where would they get it and everything. Go on.
Build is going to be available on May 3rd. It's going to be for India and the UK is going to be on Penguin. It's Penguin's Publishing is going to be putting it out, Penguin Random House. And it's available on Amazon and all in both hardcover and in India's softcover, as well as ebooks and audiobooks.
Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you. Goodbye. What an incredible time I had with Tony Fadell, and I learned to keep learning. I think that has been my take from this interview. Please do go and read, build, and tell me on my Twitter at Lavina Tandon as to what have you learned from this book. And what do you think about this episode as well? You can write to me on chaichat@ashtak.com or Twitter me at Lavina Tandon. Thank you, take care, and God bless.